Hello students, let us start our new session with the new topic, important point, eddy currents. Now, we have studied that electric current is induced in well-defined paths in conductor like a circular loop or coils. Now, if we have a bulk piece of conductor, and while we are providing a change in a magnetic flux, then it also generates a current. If we are having one piece of metal or a conductor, and when to that, if the magnetic flux we are providing as a variation magnetic flux, current can also produced. To understand this, let us focus on the diagram. Permanent magnets are given with the poles north and south. In between this, one piece of metal, the copper plate we are providing, which allowed to swing like a pendulum between this strong magnet. Now, motion, while we are providing motion to that plate, it is going to be damped, and after a little while, plate is come to the hold position. Initially it is swing, then gradually it reduce its speed and the covered distance, and at the end stop to move further. Now we can explain this phenomena on the basis of electromagnetic induction. Here what will happen? Magnetic flux is associated with the plate while it is moving between the plates. Between the magnets, fixed magnetic field is there, but conductor is moving. Same as the earlier case in the rectangular conductor. Magnetic field we have provided fixed, rod is moving, it means the conductor is moving. So, magnetic flux variation is arised. Here also, fixed magnetic field is present between north and south pole. The conductor is moving, it means change in the magnetic flux is associated with it while it is moving from its original position. Now we can say that while plate is moving in and out, the difference of the magnetic flux is generated. While the plate is coming inward within the magnetic field, the current direction is reverse, and while the plate is moving from the center to the outward side, while it is swinging, again the current direction within that conductor is in a reverse direction. Flux variation is there, moving out or coming in. We are pushing the rod in or pulling the rod out. This is how the flux variation is available. Same with the plate. While the plate is coming in towards the magnetic field or moving out from that magnetic field. Based on that, flux variation is available, and based on the flux variation, current is generated, which gives you the reverse direction of the current as shown in the figure. So the change in the flux which induced eddy currents in the plate. That direction of eddy currents as shown in the figure, it's opposite direction. So the plate swing into the region between the poles, it swing out of the region while it coming in inward direction current, and while the plate is moving out, the opposite direction current, anti-clockwise and clockwise direction of the current is available, same like a conductor. To reduce this eddy currents, we are going to change its contact area. As we know that it is directly depends on the area of the material. So if we are reducing the current, if we want to reduce the current, we are going to change its contact area. So while to take a plain piece of metal, we are divided in slots or we are giving slits. So now as shown in the figure, now metal plate is divided kind of the slots, and that is swinging between a fixed magnetic field between the strong magnets. So based on that, contact area is reduced. So we can say that it reduces electromagnetic damping and it can swing freely compared to the earlier case. So here this is based on the magnetic moment, which is defined as M equals to IA. That magnetic moments of the induced current depends on the area enclosed by the current. So here the contact area is reduced, current is reduced, so we can get a better magnetic moment. So here one fact is helpful in reducing the adding current in the metallic cores of transformers, electric motors and other devices in which coil is to be wound over metallic core. Eddy currents are undesirable, which heat up the core and dissipate its electrical energy in terms of heat. It can be minimized by using a limitation of metal to take a metal core. Limitations are separated by an insulating material like liquid. If we provide insulation around the metal, then eddy currents can be minimized. So that laminations must be arranged parallel to the magnetic field so that they can cut across the eddy paths. Basically, we want to reduce the eddy current, which is an undesirable component. We want to reduce undesirable component which generates a heat dissipation. If we reduce that heat dissipation, my plate can swing easily. So here, whatever the slots kind of arrangement we are providing, which can reduce the eddy current, which can reduce the heat dissipation basically. This fundamental, or we provide laminations. This fundamental is utilized for transformers or electric motors. The dissipation of electrical energy into the heat depends on the square of the strength of electric current, so heat loss can be reduced. Eddy currents are also used somewhere in some of the applications. Here 4 applications are discussed. First, in trains while we are providing magnetic brakes. In trains while we are providing a brake. In that brake, if we replace with the magnetic brake, eddy currents are required. Why? Because as electromagnets are available above the rail, which have some electrically powered trains. When electromagnets are activated, eddy current starts to generate, which oppose the motion of the train. As the magnetic plate is swing, eddy currents are generated, which can hold the swing of the plate. Likewise, if electromagnetic train is there, it is moving with respect to the electric power. While we are giving a brake, it means electromagnets are activated, which generates eddy current, which oppose the motion of the train, and by opposing the motion of the train, brake is working and train can be stopped. So no mechanical linkages are required and we can give a smooth brake. Second application is electromagnetic damping. See, in galvanometer, we have basically a fixed core can be made with a non-magnetic metallic material. When this coil oscillates, eddy currents are generated in the core which oppose the motion and bring the coil in a rest quickly. Whatever the notation pointer is available, while it is giving at some certain point to define a current. Now it's supposed to become at the original position, at the rest position. While that coil we are providing with the fixed core, that is of the non-magnetic material. So what will happen? Coil starts to oscillate while the pointer is moving. As coil is oscillates, it generates eddy current. So after giving a pointer and after noting it, the reading, eddy currents when it is generated, it opposes the flow of motion and pointer coming back at the rest position. Third is induction furnace. Induction furnace can use to produce a high temperature, can be utilized to prepare alloys by melting a metal. That high frequency alternate current is passed through the coil which surrounds the metal to be minted. The eddy currents generates in the metals which produce a high temperature can melt that metal. So basically while high temperature is provided, so high frequency current is passing through it. That high frequency currents passing through the metal which generates eddy current. So total current is increased, heat is generated. That heat can add up or can give a higher temperature, can easily melt the material. Fourth application is electric power meters. In power meters, we can use a metal disc which can rotate due to eddy currents. This electric current are induced in the disc by magnetic field produced by the varying current in a coil. We can observe this rotating disc in power meter also. Now let us go through the other topic, induction. That is inductance, in which how the induction can be utilized basically. Electric current when induced in a coil by a flux change produced by another coil in its vicinity or flux change produced by the same coil. As we can say that while the electric current is passing through the coil, which generates a magnetic field in each coil, and change in the magnetic field can produce a flux. Now in one coil, current is passing through it, which generates a magnetic flux. This flux is affected over the another coil, so that magnetic flux also can produce a current. So two-way condition is there. Current while passing through it, it generates a flux, and if flux is available, it also produces a electric current. In both the case, we can say that flux is directly proportional to the current. So change in the flux, rate of change of flux is directly proportional to the rate of change of current. If we have a windings and these wounds are closely apart, so we can say that n number of turns are there. That number of turns are also directly affected to the flux. So here, when flux through the coil is changing, it contributes to generating EMF. So number of turns which generates a flux we can define as N phi B, that is known as flux linkage. In one wound, flux is phi B, number of turns N's are there. In each turn, phi B flux is available. Why we are going to link it, combine it, N phi B can be defined. That N phi B is known as flux linkage for the closely wound coil. So again we can say that N phi B is directly proportional to the current. And while we are removing this proportionality and replace with the constant value, that constant value is known as inductance. So inductance depends on geometry of the coil and the property of the material. Same like a capacitance. Capacitance depends on the distance between two plates, area of the plate, and property of the material. Inductance is a scalar quantity. Its dimension is m L square t minus t raised to minus 2 a raised to minus 2. SI unit of inductance is Henry based on the name of inventor. Here we are going to discuss two inductance, mutual inductance and self-inductance. Let us go through first mutual inductance. As shown in the figure, we have two coils, two solenoids are there. One is the larger solenoid, in between another smaller solenoid is given. Center of solenoid for the both is same. Number of windings for the solenoids are N1 and N2 respectively. Let us define the R1 radius for solenoid S1 having a number of turns N1 of the coil. S2 solenoid having a R2 radius and number of turns N2. Now, if we can say that when a current I2 is passing through the S2, it in turn sets up a magnetic flux through S1, which is denoted as phi 1. So corresponding flux linkage with S1 is N1 phi 1 equal to M12 I2. M12 is mutual inductance of S1 with respect to S2. What we have done? We are providing a current to S2. So within that S2, magnetic flux is generated. The effect of the magnetic flux of S2 is linked with the S1. So in S2, current I2 is there, based on that phi 2 flux is there. That phi 2 flux is affected over the S1 solenoid. So phi 1 flux is generated within S1. So flux linkage we can say N1 phi 1 for solenoid S1. And within that S1 solenoid, the flux is generated based on the current I2 passing through the S2. So that proportionality, while we are removing N1 phi 1 proportional to I2, while we are removing this proportionality and replace with the constant, we have defined for the mutual inductance, that is M. In suffix it is written 1, 2, defines that over the solenoid S1, the inductance is produced due to S2, right? So the current I2 is passing through the S2. That current equation we have mu 0 N2 I2. So N1 phi 1 we have N1L, that is the total number of turns in S1, pi R1 square, that is the area of circular path for the S1, and the current I2 is mu 0 N2 I2. Right? So while we compare this N1 phi 1 equation, magnetic field due to I2 in S2 and flux linkage over the S1, while we compare the equation N1 phi 1 equal to M12 I2 and N1 phi 1 equal to N1L pi R1 square mu 0 N2 I2. So we can say that M12 is nothing but mu 0 N1 N2 pi R1 square L. That is a mutual inductance constant. Here we have neglected age effects and considered that magnetic field mu 0 N2 I2 is uniform throughout the length and width of the S2. Now now we are passing a current I1 through S1. So magnetic flux is generated in S1. The effect of the flux in S1 is affected over the S2, and as the magnetic flux is generated in S2, based on that I2 current is produced. So based on that, flux linkage N2 phi 2 is available on the solenoid S2 due to the current I1 in solenoid S1. So my equation becomes N2 phi 2 proportional to I1. While we are removing this proportionality, we can replace with the mutual inductance M21. M21 defines that mutual inductance of solenoid S2 based on S1. And again, flux linkage with S2, we have a N2 phi 2 equal to N2L, number of turns, pi R1 square, that is area of solenoid S1, mu 0 N1 I1, that is a magnetic field within the S1. So while we are comparing both the equation, our M21 can become mu 0 N1 I1 pi R1 square L. By observing the earlier equation M12 and here M21, while we compare, we can say that mutual inductance is same. While current passing through S2 and effect of it over the S1, or current passing through the S1 and its effect available over the S2, that effect is same. So mutual inductance is same. Here we have defined that inner conductor, if inner solenoid is much shorter than the outer solenoid, then still we can calculate a flux linkage phi 1 N1, because inner solenoid is effectively immersed in a uniform magnetic field due to outer solenoid. So to get a calculation of M12 is easy, but the opposite condition, that it is difficult to calculate a flux linkage from outer solenoid of magnetic field to inner solenoid, is quite difficult. It means M12, the calculation of M12 and to get its effect is difficult. But in each case, while we compare, M12 and M21 effect is same. Here, if instead of the air within the medium of the solenoid, if we are taking any material, so instead of that only mu 0, we have to include the permeability of the material, that is a mu r. So in M12 and M21 equation, instead of the mu 0, we are supposed to replace it with mu 0 mu r. Right? So it is important to know that mutual inductance of a coil solenoid depends on their separation as well as the relative orientation. Now, if flux phi 1 through the coil C1 for the experiments we have done earlier in 6.3 of the Farad and Henry experiments, the current in coil C2, that is I2, affected over the C1. So this is how, based on the mutual inductance, C2 current is affected over the C1. So that is N1 phi 1 equal to Mi2. If we differentiate for the current varying with time, so dN1 phi 1 by dt equal to dMi2 by dt. So epsilon 1 equals to minus d N1 phi 1 by dt, because epsilon EMF is d phi by dt. Here we have N1 turns. So N1 minus N1 d phi 1 by dt. That is what my that is generated EMF. So EMF can be replaced with M di2 by dt. It shows that change in the current in a coil, in one coil, can induce EMF in neighboring coil. So magnitude of the induced EMF depends on the rate of change of current of a coil with and mutual inductance between these two coils. Here we are going to end our session. Hope you understood. Thank you.